Hi guys and welcome back again to the TechTech YouTube channel. In front of us today stands our first H170 chipset based motherboard from Asus, the H170M-E D3. This is their more budget-oriented model of a micro ATX motherboard, which beside everything else supports DDR3 RAM instead of DDR4, and that's why we have D3 in the naming of it. This model is a standard part of the Asus signature model lineup, bringing in their usual protection suit, which covers a lot of ground feature-wise, and which of course brings the usual technologies that come with the Skylake platform itself. On the back side of the box you will see a more detailed overview of features, together with a long list of usual technical specifications, as well as a picture of the motherboard with pointed out major components on it. Opening up the box, in this side compartment you will find two SATA cables. Underneath the motherboard we have some user manuals with optical disc with drivers and software, IO shield of course, and a screw for holding down the optional M.2 module. And here's the motherboard itself. As you can notice, and as we said, this is a micro ATX motherboard, which is all the more practical when it comes to size, doesn't offer that much slots due to its physical constraints. That's why we have just two PCI Express X16 slots supporting only two-way crossfire configuration, and beside that we also have one PCI Express X1 and one old school PCI slot. Other than that, design-wise this model is a regular example of Asus signature lineup of Skylake motherboards. In the right bottom corner we have a small light gold passive heatsink, which is mostly surrounded with dark brown PCB throughout the board. The Asus Digi+7 phase digital power design for the CPU, which is placed around its socket, doesn't have any heatsink, but that is actually not so strange since you can't do any overclocking on anything else but the Z170 based motherboards, thus not overheating the power design and creating a need for heatsink. Right beneath the socket you can see one slot for M.2 modules up to 80mm in length. Moving further to the bottom, on the left side you can see a dedicated portion of the PCB, isolated by the AMI shielding, which is protecting the audio circuitry. Following the bottom side of the motherboard you can see some usual set of headers for the front panel, audio, USB 2 and 3 connections, while for the fan headers we have 3 of them in total, 2 for fan chassis and 1 for the CPU fan. On the right side we are greeted with the 4 SATA 3 ports, another USB 3 header and 24-pin ATX power connector, which is of course paired with 8-pin EPS power connector on the top. Last but not least, we have 4 Dimm slots, which are supporting DDR3 RAM and not the Skylake's usual DDR4 RAM. If you are planning to transfer your DDR3 RAM from your old platform, make sure that they are DDR3 low voltage type, working at 1.35 or 1.25 volts, as Intel stated that anything above that can long term hurt the IMC of the CPU. Going to the back of the motherboard, we are greeted by a pretty decent I/O configuration, separated PS2 for keyboard and mouse, VGA, DVI-D and HDMI video outputs, 4 USB 3 and 2 USB 2 ports, Intel Gigabit LAN and 3 audio jacks. Thank you once again guys for checking out our unboxing and preview of the Asus H170M-E D3 motherboard. Feel free to give us a thumbs up if you like this video, leave a comment down below if you have any questions about the product, and of course if you would like to see more content like this you can subscribe to our TechTech YouTube channel or you can check out our other videos from before.